Welcome to Generations, a show for seniors, people who know seniors, or people who someday will become seniors. I'm David Lepaco. I'll be your host for this episode of Generations. And today we're dealing with a very important topic being senior home health care. And we'll get to that in a moment. We have a special guest. But first, let me introduce our co host for the day in no particular order. But let's start with the talented and beautiful Candy Pettiford, who is with us today. And Candy, how are you doing? And can you tell us something that you're happy about these days in the dead of winter?
Oh, how much do I owe you for all this, Dave? That's wonderful. Well, when you say the dead of winter, I remember I moved back from Missouri. So this is really, ugh. But you know what? I woke up this morning. So I'm happy about that.
Okay, well, hey, that don't ever forget that. Important to be
No,
for that.
no.
And so, along with Candy, we have a periodic member of the co-host panel, Beverly Crosby. Bev, how are you doing? And can you say something that makes you happy this time of year?
Yeah. Hi, David. Hi, everybody. I'm really happy just to be here because I'm very interested in our topic today. I'm going to learn a lot. So thank you for including me in this show.
Yeah, well, all of you at home, be sure and take notes. We'll have a little exam at the end to see if you were listening attentively. Finally, we have Rashida Jenkins with us. Rashida, how are you doing? And is there anything about this time of year that makes you happy?
Well, hello all, and I am blessed. And I enjoy winter for the snow. I like to shovel snow, so that's something I've been enjoying.
And I think we have to hear that one more time. Shoveling snow is your joy in wintertime?
Absolutely. Good
What is it
exercise.
about shoveling snow, for God's sakes?
It's good exercise for
Okay,
one.
well, it is that. Yeah. Cross-country skiing will do that too, though. But
Yeah.
well, again, you're always welcome to come over to our place
Yeah.
and get more exercise. Happy to have you contribute to your winter joy and have something else to shovel.
What
Well,
about
again,
you, David? What about you? What are you happy for? I want
I'm
to hear
I'm
that.
really happy that I've been active this winter and I
Mhm.
haven't kind of holed up in a in a burrowed myself into a hole somewhere. I've been really out and about and dealing with the grandkids and going to concerts, and so I'm happy that I'm not letting winter stand in the way of those things. I would say that's the main thing. Anyway, we're all here, and including our guest, the one rectangle on the screen that hasn't had a chance to talk to us yet, and that is Carrie Lindeman. We are going to be dealing with home health care, and Carrie Lindeman is somebody who actually has two big interests. One involves entrepreneurship for seniors starting businesses, and she knows a heck of a lot about that. And that's not going to be the focus of our program today. But if you ever have an interest in starting a business, even a little business, Carrie is there to give you a lot of advice. She has a lot of experience with that. But she also has nearly 2 decades of entrepreneurial experience in the home healthcare industry. She's the founder of a thriving home care company dedicated to serving seniors. She has a lot of experience doing this. Carrie, why don't I just ask what I think is often called these days an elevator speech question? Can you, in a very short period of time, sort of summarize what you do and what got you there, and help set this up so our panelists have some questions to ask you?
Well, this might take us to the 20th floor, but how I got into this is I did a class or I did some education with my church on outreach and helping people. And I was going in a whole nother direction with my focus. And they called me and asked me to do senior outreach, in which I thought, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's where my gifts are. Well, I'll do it. I'll try it. And as I started helping people in senior communities, I realized they were magnificent. I learned so much. I thought these people give so much back to society. They've done so much. They've contributed so much to all of us that they really deserved a good way to live. And I decided at that point to do home care so I could give them the kind of care they deserved when they wanted it, how they wanted it, and they were the boss. They could pretty much dictate what it is they needed, And so that's what I wanted to do. And I've been doing it for 20 years. Goes fast, but I can't imagine doing anything else.
Okay. Beverly?
I have a question. Carrie, you call yourself a boutique business. You say that you give personal, tailored and flexible, you give those services to the people. Can you explain what that means?
Well, the best I can explain that is being boutique, we take only a certain amount of clients. We're not after hundreds and hundreds of clients. We want to be able to go in and really care for them in a way that helps them to thrive, that builds a relationship. We send in the same people so they can get to know each other, and it's really doing it their way. If they want 4 hours a day, if they want 24 hours a day, we're able to accommodate.
Well, let's say that I want to come and work for you, Carey. What are you looking for in an employee? What are you looking for when I want to come and say, I kind of want to help you with your business there? Good
Great
work.
question. Great question. We look at your heart, and it's a process. You know, when we hire, it's a process. So we're able to really get to know you, see how you meet our values, which are integrity, humanity, and grace, and collaborative communication. We aren't looking for somebody to just come in and merely fog a mirror. We really want somebody that's engaging. We do train. So I'm saying you come in and you maybe don't have some of the knowledge of the things we need. We do train on it. And we do individual training for every client. You know, we do basic training, but then also individual to each client that we do. We train our people very well.
Well, Carrie, this speaks to my ignorance on the subject, but those things aside, are there legal requirements that you have to meet in order for employees to work for you? Do they have to have a college degree? Do they have to have a certain amount of specialized training? Are there any things that regulate the people who work for you and for your company?
Well, like I say, the state requires us to do a certain amount of training, which they do have to pass. Because we're a comprehensive agency, we have nurses on staff, and they are the ones that make sure and they sign off on our care providers before they are with a client. We stick with them very closely. Again, if it's specialized training that they need, we make sure they get it. We do hire CNAs, certified nursing assistants, and home health aides. Sometimes people are going through their training, but with the nurse assist, we're able to handle a lot of our clients.
Okay. Rashida, anything you want to ask Carrie?
Yeah, so listening to you talk about your business for over, 2 decades definitely sounds like you've had some success and not without any challenges. I'm wondering how important is your relationship with God been through this journey?
Well, my relationship started out, I think that this was a calling for me. I didn't expect it to go that way, but it did. And not as much as it was in the past, we were able to really handpick people. And they would go in, and again, it's our mission, it's our values, and we feel that that is something that again is a calling from God. Those values, we're not just letting anybody go in and care for our precious clients. It's something that I feel has been a calling for me. We keep very close watch on the kind of people we have.
Absolutely.
Not only our employees, but our clients. Our clients have to also follow our values.
Let's say you have a client that's really everybody that you put in there, employee to try to work with them there, you're just really obstinate and just do you come in and kind of try to talk then?
Oh, yes. We do. We have a director, and she will, if she sees it, which she keeps pretty close eye on everything, she will go in and discuss with them how they're treating people, or, and how, it can go both ways, again, client or employee. Everybody has to get along. And if things need to be changed, we're going to give it a try first and see if that works. If not, sometimes we've just had to part ways.
Beverly?
Take it to a more practical side of things. A family, all of a sudden, they know that their parent or the parent themselves, the person, the senior themselves, know that they need more help. Where do they start? I'm sure it can be very overwhelming for families. And I, from what I understand, that's where you help. You step in and you help guide them. Is that right? And can you explain what you do?
That is right. That is right. I think over the 20 years I've been in business, I've developed some great relationships with people. And people need help, and they need to know where to start. It isn't necessarily my company that they need to go with, but I think I have enough resources that I can guide them. And it may not be that they need to start right today, but maybe it's something we're looking at a year down the road. And I'm always telling people to start looking at this early. Let's educate you. Let's talk about things. You need to really start listening. Everybody's in denial. I mean, none of us are going to get old, but we do. We do. And I just feel like the sooner you start really researching, the sooner you start learning, the better off you're going to be in the long run when you really do need it. And again, may not be home care. It may be adult day care. It may be, there's other resources out there to help.
Well, Carey, this is an awful question to ask, but our healthcare system is kind of wonky. It doesn't work very well. And I'm sure that for some people, cost is always an issue. And they would have to compare the cost of home health care to, let's say, some sort of institutional care. How do you manage all of that? Because I'm sure we're talking about an ample sum of money here, no matter what option you choose. How do you work with people to ensure that they can affordably avail themselves of your services and not go bankrupt? I mean, how do people manage that?
Well, that's a tough question. Because we're boutique, we are private pay. Insurance does not cover much. And I think the reason why we went this route is because insurance kind of, dictates a bit how many hours you can have if you've had surgery or been hospitalized. Home care, is something that is available to you. But for the majority of people, it is a paid for service. Mm-hmm. And I think with the resources that we have, there are ways to build a team. Now, yes, we're expensive, but on the other hand, maybe it's just 1 or 2 days a week for check-ins, and we're building a team with the family. Now, we don't want the family to feel like they're solely responsible, because then that kind of puts them into a place where there's a lot of stress involved. They're trying to work. They're a lot of times trying to raise their own family. And we want to give peace of mind. So what we've done is we've worked as a team, and maybe, like I say, gone in 1 or 2 days a week to make sure everything's okay, make sure that they're getting along, their meds are properly set up, they have food that they can eat, we prepare food a lot of times, we help them with laundry. I mean, those are some of the minimal things we do.
How often do you come across families that disagree with the care they think that their mother or father needs, and you kind of have to be the mediator?
Well, we always do a nurse assessment, and and the nurse comes in and, just takes, it's not opinion. It's kind of what is needed here. It's a professional's opinion, I should say. And many times there is no argument once the nurse has signed off and done the assessment.
I was going to say something to the fact of, let's say that we have an employee and we have the person that's in the center, and they become like granddaughter and grandmother. And can I, as the employee, can I take her out to my home and we have dinner with the family, whatever? Am I allowed to do that?
No, we don't allow that.
Why
We
is
allow
that?
you can go out to dinner together
You mean at a restaurant you're talking
at a
about?
restaurant.
Okay.
We encourage that. We encourage activities together. Many times, like we have in the past had people that want to entertain, they're not able to do it. So our care provider will help set the table, they'll get food, invite friends over. We incorporate all of those things into our care. And that's what's nice about aging at home, is you have that freedom.
Mm-hmm. Carey, I'm going to ask you a two-headed question. The first part is, what's kind of the ideal scenario? Who's really the best fit for the kinds of services that you provide, where you say home care is exactly what they need, and they would be way better off to do that? And then the second question is related. Is there a line that you cross where the person's, let's say, physical condition is such that really it's inappropriate and actually dangerous for people to be having home care and they should be in a hospital or some other setting? Is there a line that you cross where you say this is not the right approach for this particular individual?
Well, I'll take that question first, and I might have to have you repeat the other one again. But the question about the being appropriate, if someone, for instance, has dementia, Alzheimer's, and they're wandering, for instance, that's a safety issue for us, that we can't keep track. If someone is wandering or walking out of the house in the middle of the night, then we say they need to be in a facility, because whenever safety gets in the way, we have to say, no, we're out. If they're driving and they shouldn't be, we can make suggestions about taking the keys, because we do transportation. If they refuse that, again, we can't, on our watch, we can't be responsible for them if they're taking their car out and we don't believe it's a good thing. So I would say the overarching thing is safety.
Okay. Well, the other part was, what's the best fit for your company? Who's somebody who has specific things we say, dang, home care is the right thing for them. It's better than anything else. And I really feel happy that we can offer them our services because they are exactly the prototype of what you want in a home health care situation.
Well, it's people that want to age at home. They know for sure. I mean, they love their home. They have grandchildren that want to come in and out. They maybe have animals that they love. Their kids have animals and they come over. It's people that look ahead a little bit, that say, this is in my future. I want to age at home and I want to see what this has to offer. People that wait until the last minute when it's desperate, and there are those desperate situations where they may end up, where they may have fallen or something happened. They're in a transitional care unit. They call us and they say, my mom's being released on Monday, and this is Friday. Can you have somebody there? There's no way. So the people that, to answer your question, ideally, we did have a couple. We've had many clients that will look ahead, that have done it right. they don't necessarily need us. They're not desperate, but they know it's in their future. And we had a client where he was a professor and he said, we want our weekends together. Can you come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday afternoon, make us dinner, buy us groceries, prep food, do laundry, and light housekeeping? That's going to be what we need. And so we did that. And they, again, really didn't have to have us, but it made their life easier. It created less stress in their life. They were able to come and go and do what they wanted. And then as they aged, they were probably, I would say 80. And we were with them until they were 96, 97. They had moved to a facility, but they still wanted us there. And so we would go in and visit. And we were with them until they died.
What a blessing.
They lived, he always said, I lived a lot longer because of you, because you made my life easier.
Beautiful.
Beverly, do you have
Yeah.
a question, Bev?
I do. Do you partner closely with other associations, businesses like Alzheimer's, and where your clients need additional care and you can recommend them to these places?
Yes, we do. We do, because again, like I say, home care isn't always for everybody. Promise care isn't for everybody. They have different needs, but we do partner with, for instance, we partner with an in-home PT, like occupational therapist, physical therapist, that they come into the home and they can see sometimes their progress, which is really important, that they're able to stay in their home with how they move and that they're safe. That's really good. We'll sometimes recommend them. And also we deal with a company that places people in facilities, and they know the facilities very, very well. And there are times when we'll discuss, like sometimes they will have someone that they feel wants to go into facility, but maybe they're not quite ready yet, or they're waiting for a place, and they'll call us to kind of fill the gap, and vice versa. If we have someone that wants to sell their home and they want to move into facility, we'll talk to them. So to me, I love having all these resources. We're not competitive. We want to collaborate with each other because people need different things. And it's really about the person. It's not about, oh, we need to get them as a client because, we want to get their money. It's really about who they are and how they're going to age well and in the best place ever for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you realize, I think we need to go to hospice? When does that really become a factor to you?
Well, that's recommended usually by a physician when he sees that there's really nothing else that can be done. And I love hospice. I think they do a great job. We work with them all the time. And it's a different role for us.
Yes.
They become the leaders. They call the shots. And we follow their lead because they know what they're doing. And so that, to answer your question, is recommended by a physician.
Yeah, that's good, because the reason why I'm saying that, because of the deceasing of my husband, they said, don't call the police, don't, ambulance, whatever, call us hospice first.
No, we don't call 911.
Yeah, they were beautiful. Hospice was the best way to call them first. They all came in, the nurses and everything, and it was a much better way than if we would have had 911 and the ambulance and all of that. So,
well, it's not about resuscitation anymore. It's about keeping them comfortable. And I've been doing a little research into death doulas as well, or end of life doulas, who also sit with the family, the patient, and provide comfort with hospice.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, Carey, a lot of what you're talking about seems to be essentially non-medical help, meals, cleaning up a little bit, tidying up the space and stuff like that. What is the most advanced or technologically, advanced medical stuff that you would do in the home environment? Where is that line? I mean, obviously, you're not going to do surgery in someone's living room, but are there things that are medical in nature that you administer in the home care setting that you wouldn't have expected?
Well, as far as the state is concerned and our licensure, we're comprehensive, which means that we can do pretty much everything. And I don't mean everything like surgery, but we have an RN on staff, everything that an RN can do. And that usually is, setting up medications, mobility, help. We do have people that are have limbs amputated, or people that can't walk. They're in wheelchairs. And so for safety reasons, again, that has to all be trained by a nurse to make transfers and do things. We help with showering. We help, so I would say the nurse is, she'll do wound care, she'll do med setups, and recommend, like for instance, if they may be on the wrong medications, she may recommend making changes. We work with doctors. And that's what's great, because we can work with the physician for the good of the patient.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Suddenly, the clock on the wall is becoming our enemy and not our friend. We have less than a minute left. And so I think all
Wow,
we
it
have
went
to
fast.
do at this point is say, boy, time passes by pretty quickly. Carey, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful to talk about.
Yeah, and I hope our viewing audience is at least curious enough to check out home healthcare options. Well, thank you so much. I guess at this point, I have to, on behalf of our entire crew here, say goodbye until next time, when we will explore another topic on generations.
Thank you.